I know that we're all grateful that this continued string of special events has gone on. We've had quite the trilogy to this point. We had Make It Rain back in July. We had in August, and just completed yesterday, the Moonfire Fair. And now as the fireworks begin to shoot off again, it's once again time for the Rising. And of course, to go on this journey, I think it only makes sense that one who is about to leave us will be taking part. So, with that in mind, greetings people of the world, Matthias Griffin back with you for another special edition of Final Fantasy XIV, as our Warrior of Darkness Shinji will be taking on the Rising for this year. And as the fireworks are firing off, we have to go find someone who is tracking down something very important. You'll see what we mean as we get started. So, let us make our way down the road of the Ruby Road Exchange and make a left over here. And amongst the throng of humanity is someone, depending on how much of the game you completed, is a person who is very familiar with writing stories. Kippy Akaya has come all the way from Gridania to get the latest scoop. But why is she here? Let's find out as we take on the level 15 quest for the 2021 edition of The Rising entitled Rising Calm. Kippy Akaya is looking around in consternation. Yeah, what's wrong there, girl? Yeah, something wrong? Yeah, suddenly I startled her. Shinji, what an amazing coincidence! Like, you know who I am? What do you mean, who am I? I'm Kippy Akaya, reporter for the Raven. You helped me investigate that visitor from another world, remember? Yeah, just before Shinji took on the mantle of Warrior of Darkness and Shadowbringers, he helped out Kippa with revealing some information on a character that had come from Final Fantasy XV. Anyway, this is perfect. I could use your assistance with another story, assuming you have the time, that is. I believe I can. So here's the thing. Just recently, an unusual visitor cut through Gridania's markets like a scythe in a frenzy to purchase every Nimia lily available. And I mean all of them. For what purpose, I hear you ask? Well, my friend, I sense the answer to that question will provide the basis for my next scoop, so I did some nosing around. No one I talked to could put a name onto our mysterious flower fancier, but by all accounts he and his cargo hold of lilies had departed for Uldar. Not wanting the trail to grow cold, I quickly grabbed my quill and notepad and boarded an airship myself. I was quickly reminded of how hard it is to chase a story in unfamiliar territory. You know this town and its people well enough though, don't you? What say you to lending a hand to my investigative efforts? We can tell her I'd be happy to, or I suppose if you need a guide. Because yeah, Matthias had to help out the Durandare family not that long ago navigate these streets. Wonderful, then we've no time to lose. First things first, we pay a visit to the nearest drinking establishment. The local tavern is always the best place to pick up tidbits of gossip and rumor. Alright, and away she goes in quite a hurry. And as for us, we'll just walk. Yeah, she's in a hurry to get running, but we're like, yeah, I know how far it is. We could just walk there. Although, of course, by default, we do run. So, yeah, try and figure that out. So, let's head on over to the Crooksand's proprietress, Miss Momodi. And apparently I beat Kippa here even though she was running. My, those are some serious faces. What can I do for you this fine evening? Well, Momodi, if you could help us out a little bit with something. Yeah, I'd like to introduce you to my friend. Oh, playing reporter, are we? Sounds like fun. Let's hear your questions then. We are attempting to track down a particular someone who purchased a suspiciously large number of Nemelia lilies in Gridania before transporting them here to Uldar. Any idea of who this person might be?
We've more than our fair share of traders coming and going, and a large shipment arriving in the city is hardly a noteworthy occurrence. But now that you mention it, I do remember this florid minstrel fellow who came in just the other day. Said he pulled in from Gridania and needed help hauling a hefty delivery to the Alchemist Guild. He's actually a familiar face in these parts. Never did get his name though, strangely enough. A nameless traveller arriving from Gridania with a sizable cargo to move. That sounds promising. Like I said, it was just a request to move cargo.
Well, not to Miss Kippa.
Before you run off to a possible dead end with the alchemists, I suggest you fish for more information inside the quicksand. After all, where else can you find so many gossipy adventurers crammed into one spot? That certainly makes sense. Between the two of us, however, I see no reason why we cannot do both. I shall stay here and interview the clientele while you chase down our other lead at the Alchemist Guild. What do you think?
I think I'm on board. Leave it to me.
Then that will be our plan. Once you spoke with the potion mixers, make your way back here and we can discuss any new revelations.
Will do there, Miss Kippa. And thank you, Miss Momodi. So away she goes, and I will do the same. Until next time, Momodi. So let's make our way through the crowd. That's going to be, of course, surfacing as we load back in. Oh, someone's showing off their musical prowess. But we have no time for music. Well, at least not yet. So, to the Alchemist Guild! We'll jump through this little hole and hook up with Guildmaster Severian. Hello there. So boldly do you approach a master of his profession. I warn you, this martyr must be deserving of the precious moments you steal away from my unending research. Well, I did need to ask you about something there, sir.
You question me for a tabloid piece? Away with you! I refuse to waste another instant on this trivial nonsense!
Oh, but just a moment. Perhaps there's a shred of scholarly value to this after all. I vaguely recall the flamboyant character of whom you speak, and his request to process a vast quantity of floor material. 'Tis laughable that I would undertake such a menial chore, of course, so I'd assign the task to my subordinates. If you wish to discuss the tedious details, Dietrich is your man. Alright, well, thanks for pointing us in the right direction. Alright there, Gordon Dietrich from V for Vendetta, how are you? Why, I should be delighted to assist you. This is regarding that large delivery of Nemea lilies. Yes, it does. Yes, the guild did accept a task involving said flowers as commissioned by a nomadic minstrel gentleman. And though I cannot reveal the nature of what we produced, I can tell you that it shall be distributed amongst the populace as part of the events of the Rising. If you wish to know more, then might I suggest you speak to the gentleman himself? Sure thing. We got all the information we needed here, so back over to the quicksand we shall go. And we'll see if Kippa has anything of note. Apparently a ninja left their calling card. Kippa! Found you!
Adventure, you're back! Did the alchemists offer up any new information?
Yeah, they did. Let me tell you all about it.
So to summarize, this famously unnamed minstrel of nomadic inclination commissioned the manufacture of some as yet unknown item to be handed out during the Rising. Though I heartily agree that we should speak with him directly, and as luck may have it, I've just discovered that he needs to put on a performance at the Ruby Road Exchange. I think it's time for one of my patented on-the-spot interviews, don't you? If we hurry over, we can catch him before he takes the stage.
Well, let's hope we indeed accomplish that. Let's hustle on over to where we can find this wandering minstrel. Oh, looks like we got a legitimate performance going on right now, but speaking of people who perform, yeah, you might be familiar with this particular individual. You've seen him perform on many occasions. And apparently, Kippa is not the only reporter to have shown up here tonight.
Greetings, sir. I'm terribly sorry to interrupt, but you are the famous wandering minstrel, are you not?
I am indeed. And look whom you brought to see me. What's that all I might do for you fine people? Indeed there is, Mr. Wandering Minstrel.
I've been following you, to be perfectly honest. I am curious to learn more about the wagon load of lilies you turned over to the alchemists, not to mention your plans to distribute the results of their work.
You followed me? Well, how did you... I mean, what would you? Well, we gotta tell you all about it. Apparently you caused quite a stir in Gridania. Oh, a writer for the Raven. That explains much. And did you also learn what I tasked the alchemist to create? Is the kernel out of the bag for all to smell? Well, not yet.
No, we were hoping you might tell us.
Good. Then my surprise remains unspoiled. The plan, if you must know, is to hand out bundles of potpourri to all and sundry during the rising.
As in flowers mixed with spices? The aromatic stuff you see in bowls on parlor tables and the like?
They're the same, except my potpourri will delight the eyes as much as the nose, thanks to the alchemical wizardry infused by my co-conspirators. Yet even without such enhancements, the scent of Nimia lilies is known to promote calm and tranquility. The rising is a time of remembrance, of mourning. It is a time when sorrow can overwhelm folk who lost friends and loved ones in the seventh humble calamity. It is my hope that the lily's gentle perfume will afford such burdened souls a modicum of peace shrouding this oft-times melancholy memorial.
Oh my! What a genuinely lovely idea!
Only just this moment we were making arrangements for a showcase of my humble talents while I shall hand out potpourri bundles to the audience. Again, I'm glad we may tell you inadvertently spread word of our little surprise gift. I trust you now have sufficient detail to write your article.
Oh yes, I have plenty to work with, thank you!
Splendid. Now, since you joined the inner circle, so to speak, we must have you play a role in the performance. And she's like, wait, what? I don't perform. No, you needn't fret, Sil. I merely wish for your assistance in passing out potpourri. I can supply the crowd at the show, but it would be most helpful if you might deliver bundles to some other part of town.
Oh, we would be happy to, and it could only help me flesh out the story.
Yeah, here you go, Miss Skipper. And for Shinji, too. This is unusual for Melora to be holding flowers, but that's what the story must have us do.
Let's head back to the Quicksand Adventure. If we handle our bundles there, then we can be sure to cover folk from every corner of the city.
Alright then. We were low on helping hands to tell the truth, so this has worked out for the best. Please come and meet me at the Ruby River Exchange once you finish with your task. Alright, leave it to us. Kippa and I have got it covered. But first we gotta go back to the quicksand in order to talk to Kippa, and then we'll do what we need to do. So around the corner and let's go and say hello to her again.
Let's get to work, shall we?
Indeed we shall. So away she goes, and then we'll go to a different part of the quicksand. So yeah, we'll just chill out here, wait for any passers-by, and then we will supply them with the potpourri that the Wandering Minstrel gave us. Yeah, maybe we should, like, spread the word that, hey, guess what? We got flowers! So, sometime later, yeah, we got more Mikote to speak to. So I lavish him with some potpourri. He expresses his gratitude. And he goes on his way. While on the other side, Kippa also handing out some of the potpourri. And apparently these two know each other. And away they go. Yeah, Shinji seems to be satisfied.
What is it you're giving out there, adventurer?
Yeah, we gotta look down here. We have a representative of Ulda's Immortal Flames. In this case, this is Mimio Mio. If you ever are at the Immortal Flames and it's your grand company, You might not miss her because she is a Lalafell, but she is standing outside the front gates. And she actually does supply you with some quests as well if you ever have the time to do so. So, if you are an Immortal Flame, this actually is a Lalafell you will be very familiar with. And yeah, you may have noticed, and this wasn't something I did not even notice until I started doing the Rising. Mimio's a girl, which can be told because she has this quite long lock of blonde hair on herself, and for whatever reason, I guess she's allowed to wear it even though she's in uniform? I don't know, but hey, we can't judge people based on what kind of hair they have, right?
I know this scent. Mimia Lily, yes?
It's like, how did you know?
The flower is often placed on the graves of the fallen, a practice with which I am, alas, intimately familiar. Why choose this particular bloom?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I'm sure you do too if you've never played this game before.
I see. Perhaps the perfume does remind one of the peace of repose, rather than the violence which took our companions from us. It would seem the minstrel has given the matter some thought. For Cardinal veterans such as myself, the season of the Rising can be a torment, like the throbbing pain of an old wound. I will keep this bundle close, I think, and breathe in its calm whenever I feel my thoughts turning grim.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant. Back to your post. And meanwhile...
Keeping busy there, ain't you, Shinji? I know it's for the Rising and all, but it tickles me to see a hero of your stature handing out presents like a simple errand boy.
Why is that? Yeah, Shinji's like, huh?
I mean, ever since the first time we met, you've always been the type to lend aid where it's needed. And you haven't changed one bit. Makes me happy it does, not to mention a little misty-eyed. The good you've done for folk will linger on, an unshakable foundation for your future. Keep going the way you're going, my friend, and we'll all be the better for it.
Thanks, Momodi.
Here, why don't you let me have whatever bundles you got left, and I'll put them together with the ones I took from your reporter friend. If we leave a basket full out on the guild counter, I guarantee they'll hand themselves out before the Rising is over.
I think that's a good idea.
Mistress Momodi took a goodly amount off my hands, but I think we've done our fair share of the work. We should go and see the minstrel and let him know we've completed our task.
Yes, indeed, we must do this. Take care, Momodi. So, as Dawn has arrived here on the realm, let's head on over to a place that is very familiar to anyone who's ever done this event before. Gotta go hide behind the corner because this is where the Morning Minstrel likes to chill out, in front of the lift that takes you to where the Sultana likes to hang. Yeah, let's see if we can go ahead and speak with him. So, sometime later. Hello again. The reporter and a most qualified assistant returned. The performance went well, I must say. But what of your story research? Is the town circle willing to share any leading material?
Yes, they were unexpectedly forthcoming. I was regaled with many an anecdote from those who lived through the calamity, and privileged to hear the treasured memories of those who do not. Back when the calamity was poised to strike, I'd only just earned my reporter's quill. I was rushing around town, questioning adventurers and taking notes. But as Dolomu descended ever lower, the streets erupted into chaos. It was then that I fled with my younger brother to the border and relative safety. There were a few less prudent friends and colleagues who might still be here if they had done the same. In the years since, the world has risen from the ashes. I've done my best to rise along with it, but there are things I cannot, nay, should not forget. Such are the thoughts which blossom in my mind when I breathe in that potpourri's perfume. I enjoyed our collaboration this day, adventurer, and I shall attempt to write a piece that does it justice. What say you to Rising Calm as a title?
Well, given that it's also the title of this quest, I think it makes perfect sense. How fitting. I'll look forward to reading it. And so, sometime later. All too since the starting of a new composition. The hopeful verse dedicated to the continued safe passage of those who yet ascend the path out of catastrophe and despair. And so, as he always does, with a simple strum of his harp, we're gonna go echo. To meet someone who we've seen many times before. So yeah, we've been to this place in the past. Although this time, the foreshadowing is very prevalent. The light is so blinding, Shinji can't even see. Greetings, warrior of light. Who goes there? Who's coming out of that blinding moon glow? You needn't be around. Hello there again. Many have come to see you on my behalf, Mr. Yoshida, but it's good to see you again. Yet I must ask you, sir, given all the battle armor and outfits that you've worn over the years, I gotta know, how do you not break your glasses? Are your lenses made out of Lexan or something? I'm just curious because I really have to know. I don't think it's an answer I'll ever get, but I'll always be curious. This is a world that exists outside your reality. Could it be a dream? A fright, a fancy conjured by a weary mind? Perhaps so, perhaps not. What a pleasure it is to welcome you here again, Shinji. And what a privilege that your chosen trail should run alongside mine for so long. On a day such as today, I hope you will forgive me a brief bout of nostalgia. It has been an entire decade since I first came to this world. I was a stranger here, a traveler in a troubled land, and the quest for its salvation consumed my every moment. Countless trials were met and overcome, and the world not only survived, it flourished. This victory we owe to those who persevered alongside us, to those who explored and nurtured and loved this realm as much as we. Yeah, it's certainly been quite a ride for me for 7 years. Yes, it is you of whom I speak, of our indomitable adventurers. Puts a smile on Shinji's face. 10 years is a long time, yes. But for me, the number holds no special significance. It is simply a count to the passage of days. Success, however, would not have come without that accumulation of daily effort, and that is what makes it a milestone worth marking. Thank you for staying the course with us these many years. Glad I could help out. I will keep making plans for this world and for the foreseeable future. It has become a part of my life. To see it grow is an adventure in itself. Rest well, warrior of light, for a grand convergence of events approaches. No kidding. May the road upon which you must embark become the greatest of all journeys. Until we meet again, my friend. See you next year. If my life does work out after all. Yeah, if my life does work out, we will see each other again next year.
What a moving rendition!
And yes, of course, I missed the whole song. Yeah, all it takes is one strum of the harp for him to knock me out.
And now I really must head home to write that article. You have my gratitude, Shinji. I would still be floundering in the street without your assistance. Until we meet again.
Oh, you have something for me too? Well, I appreciate it. Enjoy the trip back to Gridania. A great many lives were lost in the flames of the calamity, not to mention the chaos which followed. Yet it is the survivors who must face the challenges of living in this new era we have salvaged. To you, the champion in the vanguard of our efforts, I dedicate these verses. Please do. And don't knock me out again. Scoured by the falling of fiery stars, the land is reborn with new life. Godslayer struck by an echoing roar, heavens ring with a promise of strife. Beast and man both seek freedom or death in bloody inferno untamed. By unbroken hopes from a sky long undimmed, shall the darkness of hell be reclaimed. A merciless gale and unending road, if this be the path we are fated, then pray be all dawn in the rift betwixt worlds, your soul's splendid light unabated. And of course, he has to get cut off by fireworks. So yeah, let's look up as we always do. I really must apologize for pressing you into my service for my poor petty scheme. I'll turn to consider adventurers as fellow wanderers, and call upon the assistance of your kind with little reservation. As for the gifts themselves, there was another reason as to why I chose the Nimia Lily. Traditionally, the bloom is said to represent our prayer for safe passage. The way ahead yet promises no hardship, and I wanted at the very least to wish you, all of you, the smoothest road for the coming journey. And so, as is with tradition, we must look up into a night sky in Ul'dah and see this fireworks display come to a close as it always does. Strangely enough, that's been the same fireworks conclusion crescendo now for I think 5 years. They used to add additional little things to the fireworks at the conclusion in earlier years, but we haven't seen that in a long time. So yeah, Final Fantasy XIV, Square Enix, if you ever start doing that again, please do so. It really helps to give a really nice touch to the significance of how far this game has come in such a short time. So, with that in mind, we will take our 3,360 experience points. We also obtain ourselves a Red Moon Parasol, and finally 10 portions of Nimia Potpourri. And we also earn the achievement, The Great 8. Likely to refer to how many years it's now been since the Realm Reborn first launched. But I know you're all dying to see what this potpourri looks like, so let's head out onto the streets of Ul'dah and show all of you. Only need to give myself a little bit of shade so you guys can have a good idea of what this stuff looks like. This control, it can be really weird sometimes. Yeah, let me show off what this can look like here. Only need to back up a little so you can get the full experience. So, when you use the Nimia Potpourri, remember, the Alchemist Guild said that it's not just for smelling, it's to have something like this happen. Now that is pretty cool. Let me hotbar this to my controls and do it again. Let's back up a little. And go. I think that works very well. One more time. And I know that you're wondering, is it just limited to 10? Well, as a reward for completing the quest, yes, but come over here to the Rising Vendor, and you can stock up on as much Nimia Potpourri as you want. And since it'll be market board available, anyone can get as much as they can while the event is still going on. So There will certainly be no lack of opportunity to get your hands on more Nimia Potpourri, as well as the traditional things that also come with the Rising, including bottles of Realm Reborn Red Champagne, as well as the Meteor Survivor Magic Prisms, the Heavens Cracker Fireworks, the Meteor Showers, the Flowers Magic Prism version. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to get your hands on, and unlike the Moonfire Fair, you don't need to be in continuous pace to get your hands on this stuff. You can pretty much get it straight away. So, that is what we can look forward to for those who have the good fortune of taking on this 2021 edition of The Rising.